Hi, a very good afternoon to those of you who are joining us so far this afternoon. Big welcome to Paula and Leanne. Thank you for joining us. We are going to just wait a few more minutes and then we will get started on the presentation. We've got a few more families looking to join, and my colleagues Janine and Mrs. Short, the school principal, will be joining us in just a moment. So if you just hang tight, we'll be starting in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, so my colleagues are just going to be joining me now, and we'll get started in a few minutes. We've got a few more families that have just joined us. Hello, Mrs. Short. You're on mute. There you go. Hello. And Jenny's going to join us as well. So my name's Gillian. I'm the admissions officer and school secretary, and Mrs. Short is our school principal. Jenny is our marketing manager. So she's also going to be assisting. And for those of you who are joining us who are Spanish, she'll be doing a little bit of translating into Spanish as well. So welcome to Leanne as well, another Leanne. We've got two Leannes today. Interestingly, my twin sister is called Leanne. I think a couple of you are coming from the UK. We've got one family from South Africa, so welcome. We've got a couple of other families coming from Germany and from the US, so hopefully they'll be able to join us as well. You're joining us from a very cloudy Mallorca, but it's been very sunny the last few days. So for those of you who are relocating from the UK, this will be a welcome change. Beautiful weather here in Mallorca, even at the end of October.
I mean, on the weekend, I was still on the beach.
Yes, you can still enjoy the beach at the moment. Exactly. It's still around 25 degrees. The Brits love to talk about the weather. We do like to talk about the weather. Because if the sun shines in the UK, then it's a big deal. So,
bueno, I'm going to do a little introduction in Spanish for our Spanish families today. Bueno, a todos una gran bienvenida. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros hoy aquí. Bueno, seguramente veáis que miro de un lado para otro, pero es porque estamos con dos cámaras diferentes. Ante todo, sí, bienvenidos. Estamos encantados de dar la bienvenida. Y solo quería introducir un poquito lo que vamos a hacer hoy. Vamos a presentar de manera virtual nuestro colegio, nuestro fantástico colegio. La presentación será en inglés, pero si ustedes quieren más adelante o después de la presentación tener una presentación en español, por favor, no dudéis en contactar con nosotros. Estamos más que encantados de enseñaros el colegio, de responder cualquier pregunta que podáis tener. Y al final de esta presentación vamos a hacer también preguntas y respuestas, así que en vuestra pantalla veréis un pequeño botón que pone Q&A. Si le dais clic ahí, podéis escribir cualquier pregunta que se os pueda surgir durante la presentación y después de la presentación. También pueden ser en castellano, si así lo desean, y nosotros intentaremos contestar todo lo que podamos. Así que bienvenidos y espero de verdad que disfruten esta presentación y espero de verdad que pronto tengáis la oportunidad de venir a visitarnos, porque claro, visitando el colegio siempre es un poquito diferente que cuando se haga online, así que realmente os damos la bienvenida, que por favor vengáis a realmente sentir el colegio, porque realmente es muy diferente. Así que nada, muchísimas gracias y bienvenidos todos.
Thank you, Janine. I hope those who speak Spanish all got that. We're going to start in a few minutes. Like Janine was saying in Spanish, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, we're happy to do this presentation virtually, especially for families who are in the UK and looking to relocate, and in Europe who are looking to relocate to Mallorca. We appreciate that it's been difficult to travel the last couple of years because of the COVID pandemic. So we've had some really successful virtual open days where we can give a lot of information and explain about the school. But the best way to experience the school is to come and visit us in person. You can see the classrooms in action. You can see the children enjoying their school day, and the teachers, meeting the teachers and chatting with Mrs. Short about the curriculum and about what a school day is like here at BIC. So it's lovely to have you all here, but we do hope that you can make it over to our lovely sunny island and get to see the school in person. So I think that we should get started. Are you okay to get started now, Mrs. Short?
I am, yes.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so Mrs. Short's going to give a short presentation about the school, explain about the curriculum, the timetable, the day of BIC, and afterwards I will explain a little bit about the enrolment process, and then we'll have a live Q&A session at the end, which I'll explain to you how that works towards the end of the presentation. Okay, Mrs. Short, take it away.
Thank you very much, Gillian. So first of all, I will start with the bigger picture. So BIC Sant Agustí is part of the Orbital Education Group, and we belong to the group which actually has 9 schools in different parts of the world, as you can see there. And Orbital, as well as belonging to Orbital, they are also part of our quality assurance. So it is a fast-growing group, and we work very closely with the regional head of schools and the whole group itself, which is actually based in Manchester. And the regional head of schools does come over and visit us, especially now restrictions are lifted slightly, and he comes over at least termly. So it's a huge support for the schools when the Orbital Education Group people come over to see us as well. So obviously, as we are part of Orbital, we have 2 schools actually in Mallorca, both called the Baleares International College. The only difference is the ending of the name. There is Sant Agustí and there is Saparassa. Obviously, this presentation is about the primary school, which is in Sant Agustí, and Saparassa is an all-through school, which is not that far away. We're only about 20 minutes apart. Sant Agustí is a little bit closer to Palma, and Saparassa is closer to Magaluf, for those of you who do know the island. So we do have the same aims, we have the same education system and the same teaching and learning and assessment styles, but we are obviously slightly different in our position, in our philosophies and our environments. So concentrating on Sant Agustí, which is obviously where I'm speaking to you from now, we are just a primary school. We are only a primary school, which in some ways seems a little bit negative to say, oh, we're just a primary school. But this might be different for some of you, because I know if you're coming from the UK, very much in the education system, you have a primary school and then you move on to a secondary school. In many international schools and in different areas of the world, you have an all-through school, which is from 3 or 5 years old to 18-year-olds. But Sant Agustí is a primary-based school, so we're a specialist primary school from the age of 3 to 11. We're situated, as I said earlier, just outside Palma. It's a lovely, beautiful residential area where the school is actually situated. So some facts and figures about BIC Sant Agustí. We have, at the moment, we have 116 students. The age range, as it says there, is from 3 to 11. And we have 23 nationalities. And for me, this is one of the most important parts of our school. I'm very passionate about primary education, and I'm very passionate about BIC Sant Agustí, as anybody who spends any time with me will very, very quickly realise. So I've been teaching in primary education for a few years, and I'm still very, very passionate about my work. It's not my work, it's not my job, it really is my passion. So the school at Sant Agustí is very, very special. We're a small school. As I said, we have 116 pupils, and the teachers and the children do work very, very closely together. Everybody knows everybody else. There's very much a family feel to the school. But part of the passion for me and part of the speciality for me really comes from those different types of nationalities. I've taught in other international schools, but in Sant Agustí we have, as I say, the 23 nationalities, but out of 116 children, that's a huge amount of nationalities. So it's, for me, when you go out onto the playground and hear the different languages being spoken, and you can see the different cultures and the different identities that the children take, it makes this place a very, very special place to be. It really is. And as Gillian has already said, please come and see us. But I also say, don't just come and see us, but feel the atmosphere in the school. It's a very, very family-orientated school in particular. Our maximum class size is 20. The average class size is usually around about 15, which is a really, really nice number. It's enough number in the class to be able, for the children to be able to make different friends and for the teachers to work with different groups, but actually still small enough for that individual attention, which obviously we like to give the children as much as we possibly can. So obviously we deliver the British curriculum, we deliver the best of British education. Our curriculum is the British curriculum. We have a couple of adaptations, which I'll come to later, but we do provide the British curriculum, and we want our students to be the best that they can be in whatever area of the curriculum that is. And yes, academic is very, very important, but it's also about more about being a whole person, not just academic as well. As I've already mentioned, it really is a truly international experience. I think we celebrated Christmas, for example, last year for those children who do celebrate Christmas from the 5th of December to the 7th of January. By the time we'd got everybody's cultures and identities, and we'd celebrated everybody's own particular version and traditions of Christmas, fantastic experience for the children to be part of. We do strongly believe in giving the children opportunities for all, and the children do have the opportunities to develop a huge range of skills, both in and out of the classroom. So if you're not aware of the British curriculum, I'll just give a very, very quick run through on how it actually works. So we refer to our early years. The early years children are in our nursery and reception classes. And this is the same British curriculum throughout the world. So the early years are nursery and reception, and those children are 3 and 4 years old. We do follow the British system of age acceptance. So the oldest children in each of our classes will be a September birthday, and the youngest children will be an August birthday, which is exactly the same as it is in Britain. This actually makes it easier when it comes to things like teaching and learning and assessment, so we can make sure that we are assessing the children against the correct age groups. So our nursery reception children, as I said, are referred to as early years, and they are 3 to 4 years old. Obviously, throughout the year, if they start as 3, they will turn 4. If they start as 4, they will turn 5. We then can move on to year 1 and year 2, which we refer to as Key Stage 1, and those children are 5 to 7 years old, obviously 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7. And in this school, the top key stage, the top year group, we have Key Stage 2, and in years 3, 4, 5, and 6, year 6 is our top year group in the primary school, and those children are 7 to 11 years old. And you can see some of our older children in the photograph there as well. So our early years foundation stage, if you are coming from the UK and you may have already had experience of young children in the UK, then you may be a little bit more confident with understanding the early years foundation stage. If you don't know the British curriculum, I'd like to explain a little bit more about it, because this is something that I'm asked so often. Our nursery is a nursery within a school. So the nursery and the reception children work through the curriculum of the early years foundation stage. This is a very, very play-based learning curriculum. There are 7 different areas, as you can see there. And you can see, for example, that physical development, very important at this early age, is then eventually going to come through into year 1 to year 6 as PE, physical education or sports. Mathematical development as a subject later on in the curriculum will obviously become maths. Knowledge and understanding of the world will become history and geography. So all the normal subjects that you might call them are actually taught and planned for in the early years foundation stage, but you will not see them on your child's timetable as maths or English or sports, PE. You'll perhaps see them as the titles that it says on the slide there. Each one of these activities is very, very carefully planned for at the children's own level, but all these activities will be done through play. You will not, I can assure you, walk into our nursery and reception classrooms and see the children all sitting down with a book in front of them and attempting to write or to read. So they will start the basics of reading, for example. They will start the basics of writing. But for example, in the nursery class today, Their children have been doing their initial phonic sounds, their initial sounds, by using what we call jolly phonics, which some of you may be aware. For example, they started with the letter S, or S, the sound. So they've been drawing the letter S on using paint, using flour. They've been finding the letter S out in their playground. So it's very, very much play-based learning for all these different areas of the curriculum. In Key Stage 1, which is year 1 and 2, as you would expect, there was a transition from early years. So we have to move from play-based learning into a more academic style of learning. But year 1 in particular, the first term, is very much about getting this transition right. So the children do not suddenly go from a play-based learning into sitting down at a desk for the hours that they spend in the school during the day. So there is still some play-based learning, but very hands-on activities. They do continue their phonics-based learning, learning the sounds, learning to blend the letters together, for example. We then introduce the core subjects of maths, of English, of computer science, of science itself. And then we also look at some of the foundation subjects such as history and geography. And we also have specialist teachers who come to teach the children Spanish, PE, sports, and music. As the children progress throughout Key Stage 2, as they get older, then we move it into year 3, 4, 5, and 6. And as you would imagine, these core subjects of maths, English, and computer science and science itself are developed even further. We do have, for computer science, we do have a class set of laptops and we have a class set of Chromebooks. We find this a lot easier to use. They're a lot more flexible than having an ICT suite. And the children are very used to using both the Chromebooks and laptops. They have one specialist lesson every week of computer science, but they use the laptops and the Chromebooks very, very frequently throughout the rest of the week as well for other subjects. We also then in Key Stage 2 begin to focus on other skills and the knowledge of understanding in many different subjects, including modern foreign languages, which I'll come back to in a couple of moments, and also developing history, geography, art, music, and something which is very, very important, which is a thread which goes throughout the whole of our school, is PSHE, which is personal, social, and health education. Although on the timetable, this is only one lesson a week, this, as I said, is a thread which goes throughout everything we do. It's very, very much about the children and listening to the children and helping the children learn many, many skills, such as we even look at things like finance, mindfulness, well-being. We look at the ways that the children can cope with anti-bullying, with making friends, transition from one class to another, into one school to another, right the way through into physical development and their emotional development as well, which is extremely important. We also give the children extra support with English as an additional language. Many, many, many of our children, the greatest majority, are learning English as an additional language. So the curriculum is adapted because of that, right the way from nursery all the way up to year 6. And we also do have additional languages in Catalan, German, and French. So part of our EAL, our English as an additional language, and our languages program, because we are fortunate to live and work, obviously children come to school in Mallorca. Mallorca, as I'm sure you know, is a very, very international island. So we firmly believe that one of the best ways that we can equip the children with the skills and the knowledge and understanding that they need to live on such an international island is through languages. So all the children obviously learn English. Every single child learns English. We have children come into the school who cannot speak English at all, and we have children who are completely fluent English when they begin the school. And obviously then we have children from the whole of that spectrum from one end to the other. So as I said, we treat the English as an additional language for those children who need to. So when the child comes into school, we really do need to know what their standard of English is. And any previous reports from other schools, obviously depending on the age of the child as well, which will then enable us to cater for your child's individual needs. not just in English, but across the whole of the curriculum. So if your child, for example, is slightly older when they enter the school and they need the extra support in English, they will receive that. All the curriculum is differentiated, it's changed to suit the children in every single class. As well as English, obviously the children will do Spanish. So if your child is in a British school at the moment, they will probably do a lot more Spanish than they would do if they were in Britain. So the children have 4 lessons of Spanish a week. And from the age of year 2, which is the age of 6, if the children have a Spanish passport, they also have to do Catalan, which of course is the language of Mallorca. So all the children will do Spanish. What we actually do with Spanish, because as you can appreciate, again, we have fluent Spanish speakers and we have children who do not have one word of Spanish when they join us. So what we do is in the bubbles, in the groups, for example, of year 1 and year 2, and then year 3 and year 4, and year 5 and year 6, we, out of the bubble group, we then take out 2 groups. So we have a beginners group for Spanish and an advanced group of children for Spanish. And obviously, as the children go throughout their school, as I'm sure you can imagine, once they've had a few years of the Spanish subjects with us, then most of those children will actually go into the advanced group. So our beginners group, by the time the children get to year 5 and 6, is actually quite small, which is really good because we do have children joining then. They're in a very, very small group of for Spanish. From year 3, which is age 8, all the children also have German. Again, if the children already speak German, then we have most of the children who do not speak German, they will have one class, and the German speakers will be in a different class, just for to learn German. And if the children do not do Catalan, then they can learn French instead of Catalan. So we have lots of languages which the children will be learning. Our staff, you can see some of them there. They're very, very dedicated staff. One of the things that I think is very special about the school is that the staff genuinely care for the children. We are literally like one big family, and the staff all know the children, and the children certainly know the staff. So we have teachers, we have teaching assistants, we have support staff. Miss Gillian, who you've already been introduced to, is our admin assistant and also does lots and lots of other jobs. And the children all certainly know Miss Gillian. She's the one they go to when they bump their head, when they fall over in the playground, and we have to call parents if they've forgotten their sports kit, etc. Excuse me. So Miss Gillian is certainly known to all the children. So most of the staff are actually trained in the UK. The ones who are not trained in the UK are the Spanish teachers, and they're obviously trained in Spain. So all our staff are fully qualified, and the majority of them are native English speakers. If they're not, for example, one of our nursery teachers speaks fluently Spanish, German, Dutch, and English. So that's extremely helpful to have, especially in the nursery, when we have so many different languages in the school as well. But the teachers are extremely dedicated and genuinely enjoy coming to work and working with the children. So some of our facilities, you can see from the photographs there, we do have specialist language classrooms. The school is actually very, very light. Everybody who comes into the school remarks on the natural light which is inside the classrooms. I managed to close the shutters in my office. My office is between 2 classrooms, and unfortunately our view looks right out onto the sea, which is beautiful. So obviously I'm being slightly sarcastic when I say that. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful view. And unfortunately, the children just take it for granted because they see it every day. So we are in a lovely place with lovely views. And the facilities within the school, we do have a wide variety of different styles of classrooms. We have a library, we have an international library. We also have a small science lab, a dining room, which is used as a multi-purpose room as well. This is where we have assemblies. And we also have an art room. At the moment, we've got an art class going on, an art club going on there. The art clubs at the moment are extremely popular. We also have a dedicated music room and a soft play area within a room as well, which is very, very popular with children, as you can imagine. Our outdoor facilities. Sorry, there's a slight delay. Okay. Our outdoor facilities, we do use the outdoors a huge amount. We live in Mallorca, so we really do make the most of the outdoor facilities. We'd be silly not to. So every floor, we have 3 floors in the school. Every floor has outside terraces, outside classrooms. We have a beautiful outside classroom called the Lemon Tree Terrace because there's a lemon tree in it. We use the outdoors, but we're not very original with our names, I'm afraid. So we have the Lemon Tree Terrace. We also have a terrace next to the dining room, which is called the Dining Room Terrace. I think maybe we should have a competition to increase those names and make them a little bit better. We do have a large playground and a large sports court, and we have a lovely nursery, playground, which is dedicated just for the nursery and the reception children. It's not just a playground, it's also an outdoor classroom for them as well. And we also have access to a sports centre and to the indoor swimming pool. As I said, we do use the environment a huge amount. We are 5 minutes walk away from the beach. So some of our PE lessons, we go down to the beach. We also use the beach for beach cleans, and we work with one of our charities, which is called Save the Med Association. At least once a year, we go down to get involved in beach cleans, and we do work with different charities with that as well. We also use the beach for different aspects of field work. It could be geography, it could be art, it could be science-based, but it always fits in with the curriculum. It's certainly not, oh, it's a nice day, let's go to the beach. Otherwise, we'd be at the beach most of the days, I can assure you. So the beach is used when it fits. For example, we also have house teams, and the house team, we had a house competition recently, and one of our teams, the Lions, won the house competition. So their treat, their reward was to go for a lesson down to the beach today, which they really enjoyed, as you can imagine. We also have a forest, believe it or not, which is about a 10-minute walk away. And this is something that we are making more and more and more use of, the natural environment around the school and certainly with the forest itself. So again, we take the children when it suits. For example, for science, habitats, we've looked, 2 of our classes in the last couple of weeks has gone to the forest, one from a wellness session that they did in the forest, the other one for science and habitats, so that we do use the environment around the school as much as we possibly can. As I said, the beach is a 5-minute walk away, and similarly, the 5-minute walk away is also the local sailing school. It's home to the Spanish National Sailing School. So an optional extra is for the children to go sailing on a Friday afternoon, and that's what we're currently doing. So we've got, at the moment, almost 50% of our Key Stage 2 children every Friday afternoon go down to the sailing club and spend a couple of hours sailing, which they thoroughly enjoy and come back with all kinds of different stories to tell us every single week. There's only a couple of weeks that not only sailing, they also managed to see a dolphin. So that was a huge cause of excitement. Slightly further afield, we live obviously on a very, very beautiful island, but it's also full of culture, it's full of traditions, and we do as much as we possibly can, which is a lot easier this academic year than last academic year, due to restrictions being lifted slightly. So we take the children, again, where it fits in with the curriculum, where we possibly can, to around the island to appreciate the history, the geography, and obviously some of the traditions on the island as well. And I'm sure you can see certainly one famous person who belongs to the island as well. During the year, we have lots of special days and special events. For example, on Monday this week, we had our Pink Day to bring the children's awareness of breast cancer. This is a tradition that we started about 4 or 5 years ago. And we think it's very important that the children are aware of charities and giving to charities and how to give to charities in the correct manner. We support about 4 or 5 charities, most of which are local to the island, and most of which involve children, because I think it's very important that children are giving to children. It means more to them. especially when we've, as I say, we've just got just the primary school. So other special days that I'm sure some of you are familiar with, World Book Day, which sometimes is a day, sometimes we make more of that into a week. We also had World Rainbow Day. Friendship Week is coming up very, very soon after our half term. World Science Day is actually the week after half term. So every half term, there's usually one or not two special days, depending on when they fall. Friendship Week is a hugely important part of our curriculum. It's Friendship Week, it's Anti-Bullying Week, and one of the huge emphases that we're putting at the moment is on internet safety and cyberbullying, obviously lack of cyberbullying, hopefully. And that is really important to gain part of our personal, social and health education. We also do have a very vibrant school council. We've already had 2 meetings this year already, which is pretty good considering we've only had 7 weeks back at school. And the children have already made lots and lots of suggestions about things that we can do. And they are heavily involved with, for example, supporting the special days. They want to organise different events throughout the year. They're already thinking about Pajama Day, which is the one that I dread, because I'm definitely not coming to school in my pajamas. There is a limit. Everything else I'm quite happy with, but we're not sure about the pajamas. But the children, surprisingly enough, do love that. So that will, again, will be for charity. And again, children giving to children, a very, very important part of what we do. We do have a range of extracurricular activities which run from 4 till 5 on most days of the week. They are very varied. We have yoga, we have tennis, we have piano lessons, multi-sports. We have a Technoprendo, which is a coding program that the children use, jiu-jitsu, maths, a huge range that the children can choose from. And again, at their levels. The art club this year, we've actually got 3 art clubs. We've got a Key Stage 1, a Key Stage 2, and we've even got an art club for the early years, which I renamed the Glitter Club, because every time I go in there, there is glitter absolutely everywhere. That's usually during the day as well as not just for the art club. So what makes us special? We genuinely have happy children. One of my big philosophies is if the children are happy coming to school, they will gain confidence, they will learn. Very, very important that the children are happy coming to school. As I've already said, we do have small classes. We have a very, very international community. We are a specialist primary school. That's what we do. So we don't have teenagers walking around the school. Our oldest children are 11 years old. And sometimes I think when you see them and they're 11, I think for us, you've got the best of both worlds. They're 11 years old. They are taking responsibility. They are the top of the school. They're at the top of the primary school. And they really do take that responsibility very seriously, both in year 5 and 6, our final 2 years. So they're treated with respect. They're treated, they have the authority. They are year 5 and 6 children. And then they move very, very seamlessly onto our sister school at Saparasa. The transition between the 2 schools is very, very easy. And obviously, the information from this school is passed on to our sister school in Saparasa. So that transition is very, very easy. We have a very, very strong community here at Sant Agustí. We are really family orientated. The families are extremely helpful and extremely friendly to each other. We place a huge emphasis on pastoral care. We really do look after the children. It's a very, very important part of what we do. As well as the care, we also firmly believe that we are, our teaching is of a high standard, and we have the children make really, really good progress when they're with us. We are also a member of COBIS, which is the Council of British International Schools, and NABS, which is the National Association of British Schools in Spain. And in June, we were inspected by both of these 2 organizations, both by NABS and COBIS. And I was extremely proud and very, very pleased with the 2 reports that came from both NABS and COBIS, with the positive response that we had from them. So I was very proud and very, very, very pleased with those 2 reports. And we genuinely love and we have a passion for what we do. We care for the children. I'm afraid when they come here, they're not your children, they do become our children. although we do hand them back at the end of the day, you'll be pleased to know that they genuinely become our children in the time that they spend with us. So I'm now just going to hand over to Janine, and she will run through the video.
So we're just going to show you a quick video of the school. Jenny's going to share it just now. And this is just a little video that we took of our students. Two of our students wanted to show you around our school. So it's a good way for you to have a look and have a look inside the classrooms and see what goes on all the way from early years up to year 6. So Janine, go ahead and press play. Thank you.
Thank you, Gillian. Can you give me a thumbs up whenever you can hear everything well once I press play? Yeah,
sure.
Terrace. This is my favorite place, don't tell. So here we explore, we get some lemons from the lemon tree, and we kind of explore for science, and sometimes we come around and play around.
Here's our nursery, Starfish. I remember when I was little. Let's go and see.
Favorite place of the school. This is where we do break times, play, and we do lots of sports, and this is the band.
Here is my classroom, Wales. Let's go and look. I think they're doing math.
Versions.
We're standing next to the principal's office, Mrs. Schultz.
I think she's working, but we can go and see. This is your food, the jazzy jellyfish. The teachers are Miss Jackie and Miss Sarah. Please go and cover below.
Here we do assemblies, we play, we do reading, and we have a lot of time with our friends.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm in year 6. It's Charles' class. It was a pleasure to have you all here.
My name is Celeste. I have 9 years old. My classroom is Wales, year 5. And my teacher's name is Miss Agustí.
Hi, I'm Medrick. I'm from year 6, just like Chris. It was a pleasure to make a tour for you guys, and hope you enjoy the tour. Bye. come.
You should come because the teachers are very nice and it's very cool.
Fun, amazing, and we have really nice teachers.
We love BIC!
Oh, thank you very much, Janine.
I'm just going to reshare the presentation in a minute.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that video. So for me, I've been working in the school for about 11 years now. So some of those children, I've known them since they were 2 and 3 years old. So it's quite cool for me to see a few of those children who've joined the school with no English at all. And then they can just stand up and do a presentation like that in English and speak so well in English. So it's really lovely to see those kinds of videos and see how the children progress. So as Mrs. Short said, one of my roles in the school, apart from looking after bumped heads and calling up parents if a child's forgot their sports kit, I also look after the admissions as well. So normally what would happen is you would come and visit the school, you would meet the principal, she would give you a tour of the school, you'd meet some of our teaching staff, and then we would go through the application form and ask for your school reports, etc. Obviously, in this time of COVID, just for the last sort of 18 months, we've been doing virtual open days to help families who are not living on the island at the moment but are interested in finding out more about the school. So the procedure would be that you would meet the principal. We would perhaps even offer a trial morning or a trial day for a student. This is always beneficial for the parents and for the child. It's a big step, especially if you're moving from one country to another. You want to find the right school for your child. They're not just leaving their school and starting a new one, they're starting a whole new life here. And we're very lucky that we have so many staff members who are so experienced with this side of the transition from one school to another. And as we have several families here that are moving from the UK, that's important for you to know. It can be quite daunting for a child to start a new school in a new country with children who don't speak English or don't speak their native tongue. So as Mr. Short mentioned, we have got teachers who speak multiple languages, and you know, we do have that transition from one school to another. Accepting and securing the place and being confirmed, having your place confirmed is the next step. Assessments aren't part of whether you would get a place or not in the school. Assessment is for the teachers to know what level they are in their education. So for example, a student from Germany coming over who doesn't speak fluent English, then we would know straight away that they would need help with their vocabulary, phonics, literacy, language. That would be one of the main things that we would focus on for that child. And then final documentation is the last registration form that you would fill in. And this is where we ask for important information, like if they have any allergies, if they're allergic to any foods or anything like any medication or anything like that, displayed on our Facebook page or website, etc. So I apologize if my internet connection isn't very well, because it's just come up my screen, the internet connection is not stable. So I apologize if I'm breaking up while I'm explaining this. So that's how the procedure would work with the registrations, with enrolling at the school. We do have a live Q&A now if anybody has any questions. If you go to the bottom of your Zoom page, you'll see Q&A, and you can click on that box to ask me or Mrs. Short or Janine any questions. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and click on that Q&A box, and you can write a question in there. We're happy to assist. I know there may be some questions about moving to the island or any extra bits that we haven't quite covered in the presentation. So please feel free to just click on the Q&A box and go ahead and type out a question. Your questions are confidential. Nobody else will be able to see them, so don't worry, you can just go ahead and pop a question in there. Even if it sounds silly or you're not sure if we've already covered it, please go ahead. I've got a question here. So yes, Paula, you've got 2 children. Yes, at the moment, each year group has just 1 class per year group, with the exception of our year 3 class. At the moment, they've been split into 2 because the class got too big, so we split it into 2. So yes, at the moment, they would be going into 1 class. And thank you for the lovely comment about our presentation. So yeah, they would go into 1 class.
Lovely. I'm just double checking any of the questions coming through.
If there are any specific questions that you don't want to put, so you've got a general answer, then please just feel free to email Gillian.
Yes.
If it's not of a personal nature at all, then I can understand if you don't want to for it to be answered live as such. So yes, please just email Gillian and we will answer any questions that are specifically about your child or obviously yourself or your circumstances.
Thank you, Ms. Short. Also, I just want to reiterate what Ms. Gillian said before. We really would love you to come and visit us, to see our school, go around, walk into classrooms. Obviously, supervisor will be with us, but just to see really the action and the day-to-day in the school. You will really feel the magic in these 4 walls. Obviously, during the tour, you will also, we will answer any questions that you may have. As Mrs. Short said, we do understand that some of the questions may be personal. You want to tackle them on a one-on-one basis, and this is absolutely normal. So please feel free to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to organize or a Zoom call if you're not on the island, or a visit to come and see the school.
Yeah, of course. If you're not here on the island at the moment, and you would like a personal call with Mrs. Short, you can just send me an email and we can arrange for a Zoom call for you to talk one-to-one with Mrs. Short. That wouldn't be a problem.
The question came in about the children moving from year 6 to year 7. Yes, the answer to that is yes.
Yes, they are.
If children are in Sant Agustí, then they automatically transfer to Saporasa if you so wish for year 7. And we do a lot of work with the children in year 6 to make sure they're ready for Saporasa, because obviously there's slightly different expectations as it is a secondary school, so moving from primary into secondary. But yes, they are definitely automatically allocated their place. So once they're in BIC, they're in BIC.
I just remember last year when Ms. Cowell and Mrs. Tomlinson is the head of secondary in Saporasa, and together with Mrs. Short, we did a Q&A with the year 6 students. And it was really lovely to see, like how many questions they had. You could really feel the excitement that they had. It just came in my mind when we did that presentation. It was really lovely. So we work very closely together with the school in Saporasa to make sure, as the Short said, that they have a very smooth transition to the secondary school. So we do different activities, different events. We invite them to go over to for a morning to Saporasa. The team in Saporasa come over here to visit the students to talk about the school, if they have any questions about secondary, because obviously it's a big step, no? It's a big, we're going to with a big one. So of course questions raise, and that's very important to make sure that they feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. We've got another question just come through about excursions. So I think Mrs. Short did go over excursions and field trips. We do try to take the children out on excursions, but we do use the local area as well. As you saw in the video, and as you can see on the picture there, we are really close to the coast. So we can use the local forest, and we do use the local beach and the sailing school. But Mrs. Short, do you want to talk a little bit more about excursions? What kind of trips we take? What kind of trips the children take?
I can't actually see the question, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, got it now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Basically they're all linked to the curriculum. So this is a good memory test now. So for example, year 1 went to the local castle, called Belvedere Castle.
Yeah.
as part of their curriculum based on the history and geography of local history and geography of Mallorca. We've also, in fact, our nursery and reception children are going out in a couple of weeks' time to it's called a Natura World. It's a park with animals, because that's
Natura Park, yeah.
So they're going there. We actually took the year 5 and 6 children at the end of the year as part of their PHSE, the personal, social and health education, to a adventure trip with their teachers as well. And that included abseiling and rock climbing, etc. So we tend to go, obviously we've got the beach cleans. A year 3 went out to a place on the other side of the island to look at the Stone Age monuments that were over there. So lots and lots of different trips. Year 4 went to the aquarium because they were doing the rainforest, and there's a rainforest in the aquarium. Yeah. So very, very much linked to what they're doing.
Yeah, because we live on an island, we're limited to what we can do, but there's still loads of things to do on the island. We try not to take the children to the same, it would be very easy to just send them every year to the aquarium, but there's lots of things to do in Mallorca. There's lots of places to go visit and activities to do. So we try to make sure that we always taking them to different places, and it coincides with what they're actually learning in class as well. Mm-hmm. So we've got another question, Mrs. Short, about the hours the school is open.
Yeah, the school is open for children from 8:45, 8:45 in the morning, until 3:45, 4:45 in the afternoon. And as I said, most of the days of the week we do have the extracurricular from 4 till 5 as well. But the actual school hours are 8:45 until 4:45, and they have a break in that. They have a break in the morning, a playtime in the morning, and they have an hour for lunchtime, and then a playtime after that as well.
Yeah. We've got another question about transitioning. I understand, Leanne, why you're asking, because coming from South Africa, the academic year is December to December. It's from January to December because of their summer holidays, because obviously they have their summer in South Africa in our winter. So in terms of moving, Mrs. Short, from one school and then starting in the September, rather than what they would normally do starting in the January, what would you say is, what would your advice be about that?
This would depend. This would depend very much on the child and the parents. Yes. Because obviously at the moment I don't know your child, with respect. So this would be a case of sitting down with you as parents, with your child, seeing what they'd already done in their previous school and seeing what we were doing, and then sort of getting a best fit match for the sake of the curriculum, but more importantly for your child. As I said at the beginning, we want your children to be happy, to be confident. And if we put them in a year group or put them in a part of the year where they're not going to feel happy and confident, then we're not going to make the correct progress in all areas of the curriculum, including how they feel with themselves as well. So it doesn't matter really what time you come. We take children in throughout the whole year. Yeah. But it would be a question of when you do come, we can sit down together, if not beforehand, and go through and make sure that we've got the right thing for your child, I can assure you.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh, Janine, you're on mute.
Sorry, just realized when I got the pop-up on my screen. I just saw another question coming in regards of admissions. If they're already able to secure the place for September 22, if you already have that available, Ms. Gillian.
So yes, so yes. I mean, if people, our registration is open all year round. There isn't a specific date or cut-off date when people can't register. Obviously, it always depends on how many students are in the class. Some of our classes are already quite full, which means that if we're looking for September 2022, then those students are moving up a class. So the earlier you get in to register your child and to secure a place, the better. Obviously, if you look at sort of July and August for September, then there isn't a guarantee that there would be a space for them. So we do try to encourage early registration, but I can appreciate for some families moving from one country to another, that's not always feasible for them because of the travel plans with so many restrictions going on because of the pandemic. But yes, some of our classes are already full. We had to split our year 3 class because it got so full. So we do look at early registration for whenever parents want to register for the following academic year, they can do it, and we do encourage it.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions? I'm just having a quick look. There was also a question about school lunches. The lunches are cooked on the premises. We do have a chef who comes and cooks the school lunches. I think Mrs. Short, you went over this about lunches, but the children can also bring a lunch from home as well. But we're very lucky, we have a great chef who comes into the school every day, every morning, and cooks the food fresh. So dining time, lunchtime is a very social event, and we've got a lovely dining room which has a lovely terrace and windows and a beautiful sea view. So it's a very nice place to have your lunch. Is there any other questions? I'm just having a quick look here.
I was just looking at the map here on the screen, and you mentioned before that we were very close to the coast. Actually, in that map it could seem a little bit far away, but it's just literally 1 minute away.
Yeah, it's
I just like realizing when I was
down the road. Yeah, it is very close by.
It's very, very close.
And I have to assure everybody who's watching this, the sea does look like that. It is a beautiful blue. It is the Mediterranean. It is a blue. I'm sitting in the science lab now, and I can look just out the window there. I'm just looking at the sea, and it is lovely. It's a lovely blue. There's one question just comes in about waiting lists. So at the moment we don't have waiting lists, but we do envision as the year goes on that the classes will start to fill. And also about teachers, our primary teachers are British qualified and native English. I think Mrs. Short, you went over that already, you know, about the teachers. Yeah.
Yes.
So just to reiterate that yes, the primary teachers are native British teachers, British qualified, except for the Spanish, obviously the Spanish and the German teachers. And then our
also
early
qualified
years,
teachers.
but they're also qualified teachers, yes. And then our early years team, we've got a mixture of British, Spanish, Dutch, and it's great actually, because we've got a multitude of different languages in that class as well, which is such an advantage for children who don't have the English language as their first language. When you're 3 years old, it's pretty daunting to have a teacher speaking to you all day in English and you cannot communicate back in German or Spanish or Dutch. So we do have teachers on hand that speak several different languages. So that's really good. I don't think any other questions have come through.
I'm not seeing any additional questions so far.
But what I will say to all the families who've joined us this afternoon, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. And I hope that you found the presentation helpful. We are really looking forward to you coming to Mallorca and coming to visit our school. We would love to welcome you to come and have a look around. Like Mrs. Short said, it's lovely to have families come and visit us and get a better impression of the school. It doesn't do this virtual open day doesn't do us justice. We do have a beautiful school for you to visit. If you would like to make an appointment when you're here on the island, please contact me and I can make an appointment to meet with us. And if you would like an individual Zoom call with Mrs. Short to discuss your child's educational needs, we can also do that as well. And we will be sending you a recording of this presentation. So if you want to go back over anything that you weren't 100% on, you can always go back over the presentation as well. So I will be emailing you all with additional information and the recording of this presentation. So thank you all very much for joining. Mrs. Short, would you like to say anything before we go?
I think we covered absolutely everything. I just wish you all your best in those of you who are moving over to Mallorca. And if you're already on Mallorca, then please stop by and come and see us.
Yeah.
Everybody is very, very welcome. So please come in and see us, and we hope to see you very, very soon. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot. Bye, everybody. Bye.